don't usually lean on cliches, but you know what? In times like these, why not? You know what? It's always 5 o'clock somewhere, and more often than not, that somewhere is wherever Cash Patel seems to be. Hey, man. Hey, no judgment, except, well, it's like a little bit of judgment. You know, I do have some serious choice words for the fact that it was recently reported that the esteemed FBI director has been giving away custom whiskey bottles commemorating his time at the FBI. Oh, he travels the world doing official business and leaving a trail of whiskey behind him. Honestly, I'm surprised that he's willing to give it away for free. Why leave a perfectly good grift like that on the table? Come on. This is Choice Words. I'm Samantha Bee. My guest this week is actress and comedian Lisa Ann Walter. Lisa's first stand-up special, It Was an Accident, is out tomorrow, and it's incredible. So take a listen and make good choices. Okay, you're in your new house. You're having a personal brownout.
I mean...
Oh my God.
You know,
well, tell me, so this house is pretty fresh. When did you buy it? When did you move
can
in?
I just brag about the oven, the stove though, because I've never in my life had a fancy lady. I love to cook, and I've never had the fancy stove.
Do you know what you have? You have a Nancy Meyers stove.
I do.
An actual Nancy Meyers.
Yeah. I wish the kitchen were 100% clean, but I'll just show you. It's like a Nancy Meyers kitchen.
Oh my God, you did it.
With the built-in refrigerator. This is the reason I bought this house. I walked in and I went, this is stunning, and I want to live in this room. And it is. It's where I do my work. It's where I write. It's where I sit and have my meetings. It's where, when I'm on the union stuff, I'm sitting here.
Oh my God.
It's the heart of the house.
I congratulate you on such a deep level. I feel like house pride and home ownership is a really special, like, privilege. And do you feel like you're in the place that you always were meant to be in? I
feel like this is the truth. I have not had a feeling of safety in my entire life. It was a messed up kind of childhood with like chaotic parents, or at least my mother. My dad was not chaotic, but I didn't live with him. And there was a reason why my mom's life was chaotic. But it affected me in a way that I was like the grown-up. I became like the man of the house. Right. Like I was 10 and like had to be in charge. So I've always felt like financial scarcity, feeling like I was responsible to take care of everybody, not just in my house, but everybody. I think that's part of what I now have come to understand is ADHD behavior, where if things don't go right, it's your fault and you have to fix it. And I feel like such incredible anxiety if everybody isn't happy that I actually get angry. Like there's like messed up stuff that's connected to it, but following the breadcrumbs back to the house, the not having a home for a big, long period of time in my tenure here as an actor in LA. Because I did for a little while, and then I lost it in divorce. And then it took me a long time to come back. There have been times when I've made money, but then the banks bought up all the medium price houses. And, you know, I think people think if they see you on a movie that they watch every day, that you're a gazillionaire. And I'm like, of course. You got paid $75,000 to do that movie that everybody loves, half of which you immediately lose to your reps and taxes. And, you know, and that's it over the course of all that time. So we're all just working actors trying to make a living and raising kids in LA, which, as we said, $1 million for a shack.
Yeah. So, it is one of those things where you're like, if people know you, they sort of make assumptions about your life that aren't true. Like so many of us in the performing arts, we're like You're like a journey. We're
Journeyman.
like journeymen.
And always, and pretty much straight through, unless you're one of the rare people that, I remember doing a movie with Richard Gere, and I'm like, oh, do you live in LA? Or a lot of the guys live in New York, a lot of the actors live in New York. And he's like, I'm in Connecticut. I'm like, oh, yeah, because they just call you when they want you to come to a movie.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to show up for an interview.
No.
Like, they just are like, hey, we're going to pay you a
we
bunch.
have something for you. We'd love to fly you here and take you out.
Been my dream always. But that's why I'm super involved in union stuff, because that feeling of, that's the other ADHD thing, is the need for justice. Like, I have such an incredibly overactive justice gland. Like, I get super upset. That's why the politics stuff upsets me so much, because I'm like, but that's not fair.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say, well, you must be just so comfortable right now and with everything happening in the world. It's just like primal. Every day is a primal scream. I don't even know.
Yeah, it is. It's Edvard Munch. Just.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. I do relate to that feeling of like being in a house and going, oh, this is the first time I've ever felt safe, like safe.
Yeah.
In one place where you're like, where you know every contour of the premises that you're in.
Yeah.
And you worked so hard for it. And it's just, you land and it feels, it's wonderful. Anyway, congratulations.
Thank you. It's that waiting excited. To exhale moment. It's just, every night when I go into my bedroom, I say out loud, I love my room. And then it's all entirely pink.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much.
Yes.
You know, you're reminding me, because I wanted to talk about this a little bit, because you have a stand-up special, and you've been doing stand-up for how many years did you do stand-up
Jesus was a teenager.
Since Jesus was a teen.
I started in stand-up, like I was an actress first, that's what I went to school for, but then I started doing stand-up pretty much as soon as my class, my generation of young people, like 85, moved to New York to all act. And it was the height of the comedy boom. And I had friends that were like, you should be doing comedy. Like, you would be really good at it. And there weren't a lot of women, like maybe 25 across the entire country. I didn't know any that were moms. And I got pregnant right away. That was something that I learned that I did very well. And so,
congrats.
So I kept doing it. Yes, incredibly. People say I had an incompetent cervix. I had an incredibly competent cervix.
So competent. Such a hard worker.
Overworking. So I had a baby that was, how old was he when I started? Probably a year old. And I started talking about the stuff that I was living, which has always been my stand-up, to talk about what was real then. Because the stand-ups that I admired were the people that were truth tellers. So I loved this little white girl. But growing up in D.C., and Richard Pryor was my favorite. And completely different style, but also George Carlin. Like, I just like people that were telling it. And there were not a lot of women that I looked at as being that. Because the ones that were more, that worked blue, that were more truthy, were Vegas acts. They didn't allow, edgy women on television. They allowed Phyllis Diller and Joan Rivers. That was pretty much it.
Yeah.
You saw, Toady Fields you saw on Hollywood Squares. But I didn't have really anybody to look at as being like, that's what I want to do. And so I just started telling the truth about my life, and it went really quickly to middling and then headlining all over the country. And then that's what got me the invitation to come and star in TV shows in LA. Because I never thought I would do this. I thought I would be a stage actress.
Right. And I mean, as you're talking about like your new living situation and stuff, I'm like, it makes me, it's resonant with being a stand-up also, because you have like this skill, and everywhere you go, you still have that.
You can take that with you. It's exactly like, I mean, you are capable of doing what you do in a number of venues. When my kids were in high school, I did KFI talk radio. KFI AM 640 talk radio. I did that for 3 years, and I loved it. because my
Right.
shows were 3 hours long. I got to set what the show was and talk about what I wanted. I mean, obviously, when a big news story came, that's what you talked about. But
Sure.
otherwise, it was just talking and like feeling like I was communicating, almost like when I was on a stand-up stage. The audience was in their car and I couldn't see them. So there
Yeah.
was not an immediate response. But that skill that you also possess of being able to talk to anyone about anything, you can use in so many different areas of this business and other businesses. So being
It's
able
true.
to have the security of the one gig, though, I can't. I mean,
Yes.
it's like,
That's a different that is a big sacrifice that you make, is just going, well, I surrender to this. But like
yeah,
talking to, I'm sure you have this experience talking to your own kids. I talk to my kids about this. I'm like, you have to be the job now.
yeah,
Like you can't like look around and go, what job should I get? I'm like, no, you are the job.
right.
Whatever you choose, you are the job. And you
Yeah,
take that with you and you grant that to other people in some way.
yeah. How
I
old are
don't know
your
what that
kids now?
means, but like college age. One's in
Yeah, and
college,
I mean
one's
that's a
off to
really
college.
important time to have that conversation. I was talking about this with somebody the other day about the difference between when I was coming up. Like nobody helped me ever. I
Yeah.
never
No.
had, parents that my mother was a school teacher, my dad was, I mean, he was a physicist for NASA, but that's government money. That's
Hmm.
you're grade 18, but you're still making government money. Like it's
Sure.
not, nobody was rich.
Right.
And I never asked for help. My mom couldn't do it, not my dad. I just wouldn't ask anybody. So
Right.
my first credit card was Sears. I never spent any money. I always knew to the dollar what I had in my bank account. That's why I could afford to buy my first house. I never let anybody take care of my money. I
Hmm.
was very much, you need to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, if you will.
Right.
Not
Right.
that, like, if I had rich parents, I probably would have been like, hey, hook me up. Like, who do you know to get me a job?
Yeah.
Never had anything like that. But I think now the difference is you cannot expect for young people coming up today to be able to afford a down payment on a house, to be able to afford
Mm-mm.
what the interest rate is and the taxes on top of it, along with paying their bills, with what corporatism has done to their paychecks.
Oh my God.
How are they affording that?
I
So
don't, I have no idea.
we at least have got to support them as they go out into the world to say, like you're saying, you're the job. It's basically, how am I selling myself to do a thing that I love?
Yeah. How can I, like, let me find a kernel of a thing that I love? Like, it doesn't mean that you're going to do the exact thing that you love, but be in the vicinity of something that you love
Right.
so that at least you can take that with you. I mean, it's very, I don't know, it's very difficult, but I'm like, I'm happy for you. And I love hearing stories
Thank you.
about that kind of like, that it's not even, resilience is the wrong word. You obviously have resilience,
You know
but
what it
like,
is?
it's just,
It's stubbornness. I
yeah.
refuse to quit. When people, and
Yeah.
it is really, really nice that I have people that I have. Jeez, I mean, it freaking astounds me. I've been in this business and I've known people for 30 years. And
Right.
I mean, some of them are like, yeah, like my best friend, Elaine Hendrix, that I met on The Parent Trap. And they're people that I've known since like my first TV shows. And I see them out at some of these awards and stuff. And it's really nice to see them. But when people say stuff to me like, I'm so happy that this happened for you. Like, there's nobody more deserving. You're always so
Right.
supportive. When people are saying nice stuff like that, it it feels wonderful because I know they mean it. I know they're not sitting
Yeah.
there going, "Why'd she get something? Who the hell is she? She's not that good,"
Not at
or they
all.
begrudge you because they really secretly hate you.
I have to
So
tell you that on this call right now, me and my producer, we were so goddamn excited when Elaine was doing Dancing with the Stars. And then you dancing with Elaine. Like, we're like super fans.
we
Okay.
it was one of the best kind of I don't know, through line of a story that some people know that we're best friends. Other people with Dancing with the Stars were like, that's really cool. But I think what it
Right.
is just what we experience as grown ass women who are throwing down for each other, showing up for each other, we are family and we hold each other's
Yeah.
stories. And it's happening more and more where you see women kind of embracing it. I think we've always done it for each other, but now people are like, no, I'm safe here. I'm comfortable here. I don't have to worry she's going to fall out of love with me. Like, she's never going to leave me. I'm never going to need someone to show up at the hospital and they're going to be busy, I don't know, tramping around somewhere. Like,
And I feel like you see that. I saw that when you were actually dancing. You're like, oh, like that's the story of this dance is that you
yes.
like embrace right in the middle of it. And you're like, we're together. This is a love story.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a
Yeah.
love story of two friends right here.
That's right.
It's really, I love it.
That's
I
right.
love
That is
it.
exactly right. You nailed it. You got it. That's dance doing its job, because that
Yeah.
was the story we were telling. This
Yeah.
is the
Well,
platonic. I wish I was in love with Elaine romantically, because that
oh
would be
yeah.
so much easier.
It really
But
would be. So
we're
what?
just
Okay, so
friends.
this is like this is I mean we do this is called choice words, and we do talk about the big choices that you've made, and we already talked about some of those. But what made you decide to do a special? What made you decide? Because I'm very excited for it. If you
Thank
can't already
you.
tell, what
Well,
made you?
there's a couple of things. First of
Yeah,
all, I was talking about being in the business for this long of a time and
yeah,
the longevity that you have when you just refuse to give up, when you
right.
just are. I would say to people sometimes when they're like, I'm just so, my attorney, I've been with the same people since I moved to LA, and she's like, because I would bring them cookies at Christmas. Like, I would
Right.
physically, and I still do it, physically bring people on my team and at the bank and whatever, I bring them homemade cookies. And it's something I'm known for, that I like to bake. And she's like, I'm just so proud of you that you're still here. And I'm like, I know what you mean by that. You mean like I refuse to die, like I'm a
Yeah,
vampire, like I just
yeah.
refuse to die. And that's fine. But one of the things about having longevity in a career is you there were times in this career where I couldn't do what I was saying at the beginning. My stand-up voice was about telling the truth where I was, for a couple of
Right.
reasons. One was, I talk about it right at the beginning of the special. The joke is, I hate doing material, but the joke is, I got 4 kids, 2 ex-husbands. The first one was a lovely Jewish man. Turns out we had too much in common. He also liked men. The second one was a cheater, which is not technically a religion, but he practiced it like it was. So
Nice.
that's the bit. But the truth of that is real. And with the first husband, he didn't want our kids to know about why we broke up and, about him until my
Oh,
son was older. He was uncomfortable with him having a different idea about himself as a man and my ex as a man. First of all, I love the guy. He's one of my best friends still. And it was all about him and self-acceptance, which he's fine now. But I think at the time it was just difficult because I couldn't tell the truth about my life. I It was very hard for me to get on stage and lie to people. I could still do material, but it was a big thing, talking
right.
about like why a marriage ends and how you're moving on and kind of skipping over that. It just felt false. Then I get into a relationship with the next guy, and
Mm-hmm.
he told me that stand up was unfeminine and I shouldn't do it. And really, he should be the one doing stand up because he was the funny one. And I'm like,
Oh,
get
great.
get on stage once, MFer. Get on one time. Get
My
on
God.
stage and tell one joke. But it's not like well, I think to a certain extent, I didn't do it because I was trying to get this guy's approval. Because, look, that's the funny part about
Sure.
strong women being with a not so great guy is you do a lot of stuff you never thought you would do.
100%. You can even pretend to love boxing, which I did for a really long time. You can pretend to love anything.
Anything.
Maybe
So
you'll try stuff you never thought.
threesomes. But no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Actually, not that. Not with him
Yeah.
anyway. That was too
Yeah.
dangerous. But I think that after all of that, when I got back into it, which predated going on Abbott, and I started to do it again, and one of my dearest friends is Sherry Shepard, who she was coming up in stand up when I was already starring in TV shows, and I met her at some
Mhm.
charity event, and I loved her. And we exchanged numbers. She started calling me, like asking for advice. And then we wound up doing a TV show together. And then we stayed friends and, went through our divorces together and. So when she was doing a lot of stand up and told her she had to do The View, she wasn't going to do it. I'm like, you're insane. You will live off that the rest of your career, even if you never do another show. You will go around the country and do stand up or whatever you want to do. So I take full credit for that.
Good. You should. You deserve it.
Yeah, it's all me. It's nothing to do with her talent. But she started like saying, "Come with me when I go out and do stand up. I'm going to do little spots here and there, and then you just get your feet wet again. Get out there and do it." So she really helped push me along, and I started doing sets. And then the funny thing about being on a hit show is that you get to play bigger rooms and do longer sets and do more time. And when I stopped doing it full time as my one and only job, which I wish I had never done, I should have been doing these specials back when my counterparts, back when Kathy Griffin and Janine Garofalo and Margaret Cho and all the people that I was, once I moved to LA and had a friend base with those ladies, and Sarah Silverman, who was new at the comic strip at our home club when I was the queen bee there, they kept going doing stand up, and I stopped to do these TV shows because it's a big job. Was doing the job that Quinta's doing now, the writing and producing and all, and publicizing and raising a family, which none of those ladies did, right? So that's another big time.
It's all consuming. It is all consuming when you're like.
So I stopped, but I wish I hadn't. When I got back into it, I'm like, I want to be back to where I was when I was doing it full time. I want an hour and a half. I want an hour and a half of. I know when not just the applause breaks are. I know when the standing O breaks are. I want that. Because I was good. I was real. I mean, that's why they offer TV shows. They don't just hand them out. Also cute. I was cute, but I was good. And so I said, I'm not going to be happy until I get that again. And I wanted to be like seeing a show at a club because that's a different experience.
It's like when people, I'm doing like a traveling show right now, and I'm trying to explain to people, I'm like, it's like an adrenaline that actually heals your flesh. Like, it's like healing to the body.
Yeah.
To stand in front of a crowd and just be like yourself and to be saying things you're very proud to say.
Right.
It's so unique. It's like very different from any other
art form.
Yeah. And what you do is so, I mean, that's exceptional. Like that amount of time. Well, here's a question. When you're on a hit show and people know you, they know you from what they know you from. Like they know you from your body of work is long and deep. Do they have is it hard to work on new material when people are coming to a show?
So expecting to see Chessie from The Parent Trap? Yes.
Yeah.
So when I first came back on and started doing material, I mean, I worked blue. I always did. Because in those days when I started, there's a whole generation of female comics that should be sending me thank you notes. Because I would go into clubs and they would say flat out, I had just come in and middled with a guy who was a big soap opera star. But I would do an hour. And it was a lot of women. It was a lot of couples, but it was very female heavy in the vibe. And I would tell the truth about being in a long-term relationship, trying to keep sex interesting, having babies. One of the reasons I did stand up to begin with was I heard Bill Cosby's bit about having a baby. I'm like, why is a man telling that? That is our experience. Why am I hearing it from him?
Right.
I'm telling what this experience that not half of us, but a lot of us go through. I want to tell that story. So I would go into clubs and they would say like, we don't let women work blue here. And I'm like, that's weird. I just killed and did an hour and did whatever the hell I wanted. They were like, yeah, well, you're not going to work blue in this club. And I go, good luck getting a headline, or turn around and go to walk out and then wait for them to chase me. And I'm like, you're not going to tell me I can't say what I want to say when you don't say that to the men. But that was really a thing back then. There was
you're like you don't understand. I'm going to be the last woman standing. Do you understand? I'm very stubborn.
Yeah, 100% that. So so getting back on the stage and doing clubs for initially for people that were fans of Chessie, because when the show started, people weren't all big fans yet. If I was in a black audience,
Right.
had a black crowd, they would know the show. But for it to get as popular across the board was a year or two. So originally it was just
Okay.
people that were like, oh my God, I'm seeing this person that was my auntie that I grew up thinking I'm safe when it'll take care of me, dropping F-bombs and talking about, labiaplasty. And like, why am I? And at some point, like every show, as I look down at these infants in front of me, like, I would just go, how many childhoods have I ruined so far?
Oh, that's great.
But
Right.
I think once people started to understand that the stand-up I did was as Lisa, not as Melissa or as Chessie, and then I got that fan base going, it was easier.
Right. Right. And how do you like? How many minutes do you do when you first start? When you're like, okay, I haven't done this for a while. I got to break the seal on this. Am I just doing like? Are you like sneaking? Are you like, let me just do a sneaky 15-minute set? Like,
I'm really bad at doing short sets. Really bad at doing short sets. I need to do at least 20.
Okay.
Because I always felt like for me, maybe, I think maybe now that I'm prepping the new hour because I burned that material now once it comes out. So I'm prepping the new hour, and I have whole hunks that while I was doing the other hour, I was writing the next one. I don't like to listen, Samantha girl, grass doesn't grow under my feet. I'm like,
No.
Let's go.
Let's go.
I'm going to be dead a long time. Let's go. Make hay while the sun shines. So
Yes.
I probably have an hour written already that's the next hour. A good 7, I have 7 or 8 songs already that I've done, because this show closes with it's all comedic, but closes with a song. And then the next one's going to have more of that with patter in between. But I might be able to get on stage and do like two of the bits and get off and just work them. But up until now, I've just been doing, here's who I am, like know who I am as a comic. And I felt like it needed more time for that to make sense.
Okay. Why'd you shoot it in, why Philly? Because you did it, you shot it in Philly, right?
Philly loves me. I love Philly, and Philly loves me. It is a mutual love story.
Fantastic.
There's a club there that I really enjoy. Not only do we sell out right away, but we have to add shows. Whenever I go there, I'm like, I'll just do Friday and Saturday. Like, I've got 4 shows. Let's just do. And they're like, no, you have to add 2 shows on Thursday and a show Sunday afternoon. And I'm like, and we sell them out. So yeah, I felt like it was not going to be hard to get a friendly audience, and I wanted it, as I said, for it to be an experience like going to a comedy club. And we kept it as close to that as possible. Arts and Industry was the production team behind it. Really did a great job in making it look beautiful, and it feels really intimate. It feels like you're in the club. So that's what I wanted.
That's great. Oh my God, I love it so much.
Well, a lot of people do shows now that are theater, right? And so you've got what I call the comedy death moat in between the stage and the first row. And, if you're Eddie Murphy at the top of his career and you're in a gigantic theater and you're getting huge laughs, right? Or Fluffy or whoever it is that's out there in these giant arenas. It's great I just played for 15,000 people last weekend. And I still got the laughs. You have to time it a little bit different because it's a science how the laughs travel in, right?
They like roll.
They roll from the front to the back, and you have to wait for it to die down. So there's different science to it. But I feel like it's easier for the camera crew because they got more room to maneuver. But I feel like it's not the same as doing an intimate space like you would normally see a comedy show.
Right.
Which people don't do as much now, which is sad because people are watching it on their phones.
It's true. And there is a real acceleration to like somebody you saw doing some bits on TikTok. And then they're like, I'm playing Madison Square Garden. And you're like, wait, what?
They want to make sure that they've got people with enough followers to get butts in the seats. So yeah, there is a real attitude with established comics against what do they call them?
Sure.
TikTok artists or, you know, influencer
Yeah,
comics.
I feel like, and what is your take on that? Like, do you think you would be doing comedy? Would you have done it's hard. I guess it's really hard to translate. I'm kind of like, I don't know if I would have gone into comedy if it was all, I don't know if I would have been
Here's the
doing
thing.
it.
First of all, I came up in New York City, and the whole adage, if you could make it there, you could make it anywhere, that's not a lie. New
That's true.
Yorkers don't laugh if you're not funny.
Not at
There are
all.
certain clubs where you might get a little more of, lowest common denominator. Oh, you made a joke about these people are like this, but these people are like that. If you do that stuff, they'll laugh. But for the most part, it's got to be smart. And I
Yeah.
feel like I had a great balance because there were a lot of New York comics that it played in New York. But then when they would go out on the road, it wouldn't play there as easily. And I feel
Right.
like because I was on the road talking to real humans, and then I would go back to New York and play for as I called them, single middle-aged people with white furniture from Conran's. Like those people were a different crowd, but if you got them to laugh, you knew that you were on the right track because then you had
And
everybody. I
and
don't
would
know
you
if I would have done stand-up because the immediacy of the audience is why I
yeah.
wanted to do it in the first place.
Right. Right. Would you change, would you shift your material for those different crowds, or were you just like, or
Not
would you shift your,
really.
not
Not
really.
really. I no, because once I would come off the road, right? Like so there were clubs in Manhattan that were my showcase clubs, Stand Up New York and the Comic Strip and Caroline's and Catch a Rising Star. These were all clubs I played all the time. And different shows in the night would have like maybe a younger audience where they didn't have kids. So I knew that material wouldn't go as well with them. The only shows I hated doing were like I killed at the NACA conventions. That's the National Association of College Activities, right? And
Okay.
then they
Okay.
would put you on tours. And back then, because there were so few women and I was strong, so I could handle a rowdy audience, they gave
Hmm.
me all these gigs. And then I started to play them, and I'm like, these people have no kind of life experience like I have.
Right.
They don't understand one good goddamn thing I'm talking about. And I hated it. I
Right.
hated it so much. And I
Right.
didn't need to do it because I was making good money on other road gigs. So I just stopped doing it. But
Yeah. You're like, I should be playing for their moms. Their
yeah,
moms are going
exactly.
to
But
love
meanwhile, I was only
this.
like 26. But
Right.
my life was different. So
Yes.
I didn't love doing that. But yeah, I feel like I did not tailor my material because when I would come into the city, they were they looked at me like I had three heads sometimes. I remember that and I love him to this day. Adam Sandler just brought him up too, but Lucian Holt, who was the artistic director at the comic strip in New York, gave a
Hmm.
lot of people their starts. Like there was a whole generation of comics before me that all came up. Paul Reiser, Jerry Seinfeld, Larry Miller, Carol Leifer, all these people that came up in the generation before me. And then it was like Chris Rock,
Right.
Adam Sandler, and me and a bunch of people. But he was the one that passed us all. And I remember him telling me one day, Lisa, he had this voice like this. It was very,
Ooh.
martinis on the yacht.
Ooh,
And
so.
Lucian said, Lisa, you can't wear the dress, the short dress with everything put showing. That's no one's going to listen to you. And I'm like, Lucian, I think they listen to me. I said, this is it's one of my tools in my arsenal. Come on.
Right.
Will you want
I'm
me to wear the
working.
big David Byrne ubiquitous female comic jacket, like the giant
Wait, with
shoulders
a
covering?
necktie?
I'm
A
like,
big necktie?
yeah, no, I'm not gonna. I'm not. I mean, God bless Paula Poundstone, but I'm not Paula.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna show off my sexy life. And then the first thing I would do in the act was to make a gag about. I had like this giant bra on underneath my
Hmm.
dress. Like there was a weird dynamic back in those days as a female comic that you had to get the women to like you
Oh,
first
okay.
and let the men know. But I would call it out that I was going to torture the men. I think I had a bit like I'm gonna like Yeah, a lot of guys don't like female comics because they think we're going to torture you, and I am because my daddy left me when I was 7, and now you have to pay. And it like would get a huge laugh, but as soon as you call it out, it's out.
Yeah, you like diffused it. You just diffused it. You're like, fuck it.
I'm sorry, I talk a lot.
No, it's mate. Are you kidding?
You know why though? Because not that many people that know the life like ask me questions about it. You know, like sometimes you get pulled over by a cop. You know, oh, tell me a joke. I'm like, it doesn't work. I don't do that.
What was it like working on the Parent Trap? Did you like it? Was that cool?
Yes, that.
Oh my God. What a goddamn pleasure talking to you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for showing me your beautiful kitchen.
You're welcome.
Which is gorgeous. So what's the first thing you baked in your kitchen? You like to bake? What do you like to bake?
Well, the first thing I cooked was baked ziti and meatballs. That was the first thing that I cooked. Baked banana bread. That was the first thing that I made. I had some bananas that were going past, and I can't stand to waste food. I came up with a recipe.
I love to cook too.
I came up with a recipe so my bestie, Elaine Hendrix, is a vegan, and she does not eat sugar.
Okay.
God bless.
Well, oh, God. Oh, God.
And so I came up with a recipe for her because she went to a restaurant near here, and it was $5 for one cookie. And I was like, that is insane. I bet you I can do that. And so I just started whipping up stuff with like, I don't remember, peanut butter, oats, date syrup. I found chocolate chips that were vegan and sugar-free, and I made her these cookies, and now I have to make them like every 2 months and send them to her.
That sounds delicious. Oh my God, you're a wonderful friend.
I am. I really am.
You're tolerant of everybody, even a vegan who won't consume sugar. You're a very big and good person.
Somewhat.
Yes. Thank you so much, and like, have a exciting launch. I'm so happy for you, and I know everyone's gonna love it. That was Lisa Ann Walter, and I had no choice but to look up one thing. Lisa has been a touring stand-up comedian for 30 years and just got her first long overdue special. I had to know. Who was the first woman ever to have a televised special? Well, that would be Elaine Boosler in 1985. One small step for womankind. Thanks for joining us. I'm Samantha Bee, and we will see you next week for some more Choice Words. Thank you for listening to Choice Words, which was created by and is hosted by me, Samantha Bee. The show is produced by Svea Baron-Reinstein with editing and additional producing by Ryan Connor. We're distributed by Lemonada Media, and you can find me at RealSamB on Instagram. Follow Choice Words wherever you get your podcasts or listen ad-free on Amazon Music with your Prime membership.